This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Action Movie Guys podcast, episode 149, The Bourne Legacy from 2012. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa, and my co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
All right, so we're continuing the Bourne watch through. Now we're up to the fourth film in the franchise. Now, Matt Damon is not back for the role as Jason Bourne. Now we have a new character, Aaron Cross, played by Jeremy Renner. But Nate, I say his name right?
Jeremy Renner.
Renner. Sounds like
Renner's the director, Brett Ratner.
Oh, there you go. Okay, Renner.
Red Dragon.
But with that said, Nate, how long has it been since you've seen this film?
When did this movie come out?
2012.
I saw it in 2012.
Okay.
That's the last time I saw it when it came out, and I have not watched it since. And watching it this time, it almost was like a first-time watch. I didn't remember any of it. So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, for me and myself, I seen this again. I'd seen it last year, and it's a very interesting watch now that we have these categories watching action movies. So it's pretty cool once we sit down and tackle this. But again, let's get to some Rotten Tomato scores because I really want to see where the critics and audience have to say about this film.
Yeah, if you remember from the last 3 weeks, the Bourne franchise has been in the upper echelon of reviews for action movies. They've all been like in the upper 80s or 90s. Or low 90s, pretty much. This one is where it takes a little bit of a tumble, if you will. Critics score 55%, and audience score right there with them, 58%. So both under that 60 threshold of being considered a fresh film, not great reviews.
That's very interesting. I mean, that's a 40 point drop on each.
From the last movie. Yeah, almost 38 points or something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a crazy huge drop. All right, but with that said, I mean, it doesn't really matter what these audience and critics have to say about this film because we're here to give you guys our honest opinion about the Bourne Legacy from 2012. So with that said, let's get to the lead character, Aaron Cross. Nate.
To be honest, I like him. I actually like him. I like Jeremy Renner in this too. I like his performance. I think he's good. If there's one thing that he does add or does a little different than Matt Damon, which I appreciated it, he has a little bit more energy in his performance. And, you know, I've mentioned it, and Matt Damon was good, but very kind of somber, quiet, you know. Jeremy Renner is a little bit more talkative, a little bit more high energy of a character. You know what I mean? So I liked him in this. I thought he was really good. I thought his individual character was interesting. It's along the same lines of Bourne, but it's a little different. This one has we'll get to it in storyline, but it has a different twist than the Bourne movies. But I liked him. I thought he was good. Not like a 5, but I give him a 4. I thought Jeremy Renner was good in this movie, and he was good in the action scenes, in my opinion.
I think Jeremy Renner was really good in the role. Very energetic, Army, Marine type character. He was good. Him and Rachel Weisz worked very well together. I thought they would complemented each other. Him and the villains worked well, but again, he didn't meet most of the villains. He only met one villain, which we'll talk about once we hit the villains and the action sequences. But other than that, I love the difference between him and Jason Bourne. I think that worked for me well is him and his surroundings, where Jason Bourne knew how to get away and escape from certain situations. Yeah. I liked how Aaron Cross's way of doing it. Like you see him in the woods, so you see him planning how to get out of stuff, where Jason Bourne was just like how you said it before, was that he was like a robot. And you saw that in those movies. And this one, Aaron Cross tackled it as a human. Like, how can I get away from X, Y, and Z? And I thought it worked very well. I give it a 4.5. Ooh. I actually enjoyed this character. And as a lead character, I wish we got more stories with him, to be really honest with you. Okay, so I gave it a 4.5. You gave it a 4. What did you think of the main villain, Ed Norton?
All right. So I wasn't crazy about the villain in this movie. I like Edward Norton as an actor, but he just felt like a Diet Coke version of like the villains from the other Bourne movies. You know what I mean? Like David Strathairn was better than him, I thought, in Ultimatum. I thought he was better. Brian Cox was better. Chris Cooper was better. Like, I felt like they all played that role. And you know what I think it has to do with? Maybe their age, because they're a little older. He's kind of young enough-ish for that role, in my opinion. And Norton's a good actor, but I just feel like they didn't give him a lot to do with. The henchmen are way not as good in this movie as they were in the other Bourne movies. You know, the one at the end who's chasing him when they're in the Philippines, when they go to the Philippines, like, he's the only one that I thought had any sort of chance. And even him was constantly like way behind chasing him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas you have like Carl Urban in the second one, who's like neck and neck with him. You have, you know, Edgar Ramirez, even though it was brief, he has a drop on him. Like, he could have shot him, right? You know, when they were on the rooftop and everything. Like, the first movie, I just feel like Jason Bourne, the other villains were better. And I never loved any of them. I know you usually scored them a little higher than me. To me, this was a weak point of this movie. The only thing I liked about the Edward Norton character and him is that they had like the history together, and they showed some of their history as far as before this whole thing. But even then, it was pretty brief. You know, it's not like super fleshed out. I gave it a 2.5. I didn't really care for anybody that much, but the actors are good enough where it was okay. So right in the middle, I guess, at 2.5 for me.
You know, I'm just gonna be honest. I gave it a 2. To me, it was I agree with you. It's the weakest point. I felt like the characters was just a recopied of the other 3 movies. There was nothing different new in this movie. It was a guy in the office. It was nothing, absolutely nothing new. Ed Norton did not physically get in front of Aaron Cross. He did hire him for the role. I mean, you know, he hired to bring him into the program. Other than that, there was nothing new. The guy that he faced actually did not even face. He did not even go toe to toe with this guy. They just went at each other on a motorcycle. That's all they did. Yes. So for me, that is very weak. That is a very weak thing for me, and that's why I couldn't score high the villains. Normally I would, going, wow, this is pretty good, but honestly, each of these characters I already saw from the first 3 movies, so it was nothing added new. And then I kind of liked when I don't know if this fits in this situation. I hope it does, but I do like that it had other scenes with other villains from the other movies in the same timeline. Yeah. Yeah,
this happens at the same time as parts from Ultimatum.
Yeah, so it worked. I said, okay, that's pretty cool. But then they were just there as cameos, so they didn't do nothing for me. So honestly, I gave it a 2. You gave it a 2.5. Okay, action sequence.
All right. So I know I texted you guys in the group when I was watching this movie. And I was like, man, this movie got a lot of talking. They're doing a lot of talking in this movie and not enough action. Now, I will say this. I enjoyed the action scene. There's 2 action scenes I enjoyed, but there's really only almost 2 action scenes in the whole movie. But I liked them. The one in the house, I liked it. When they're coming to get Rachel Weisz, I thought it was pretty suspenseful. I like that he just busts out a closet. Like, I don't even know how he got there. He just, boom, bumps out the closet. It was hilarious. If you think about it, it was really funny. But then the scene was good. Like, the actual, him going to the basement. Like you said, I think the opening scenes where it shows him training out in like Alaska or wherever he is, it shows him, you know, how he prepares, how he does. Because Bourne, in Jason Bourne, we're just to assume he is this like killing machine, you know? He wakes up out of the water. You don't know who he is, and he could just do stuff. Here, at least they give you some training stuff. You could see he's preparing. You could see. So I like it when he goes in the basement and he uses his surroundings to like help him. I like all that stuff. So that was a fun scene. And I do like the Manila chase scene. I thought the motorcycle chase was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. I did laugh very hard when Rachel Weisz kicks the guy off the bike and he goes like, he like flips in the air, but if you watch it back, when he lands, he just like stops. He just like lands on the floor. He doesn't roll. He just, so it was pretty funny, but it was cool. It was fun. Other than that, though, this is the longest Bourne movie, by the way, and it has the least amount of action. So that's a knock in the action department. It has to be. You know, you have the longest running time, the first one that's over 2 hours, and you have only 2 action scenes and a couple little fights, like when they're at the laboratory. He beats the guys up in the hallway really quick. And the beginning with Oscar Isaac, who I didn't even know was in this movie, when, you know, they blow up the house and he fights a wolf. So I give it a 3.5 because I do think it's pretty well executed. They did abandon the shaky cam because this is a different director, but they did not abandon the quick cuts. So this is still edited very quickly, but the camera's not shaking as much during the action scene. So it's a give and take. I give it a 3.5. I think it's the least good action of the movie so far.
All right, so I agree. I gave it a 3.5 too. Disappointing, didn't have much action, but I prefer the hand-to-hand fighting in this movie than any of the Bourne movies, of the first 3 movies we saw.
Yeah, better.
I felt like it was edited better, but I felt like we got to see him do hand-to-hand. We didn't get to see that with Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne was like the cameras were close and it was like super choppy quick. This one you got to see Jeremy do the damn fight. Like I was like, yo, this is, and I liked it. I don't know. It could be me. Maybe you're right. It didn't have the shakiness, but I liked it. That scene in the house when he came and started beating them up on the refrigerator.
Yeah,
I thought it worked. I said that was pretty cool. Even when he was when the guy goes, "Why you guys are down here?" and he already got the injection before it started to kick in, and he whooped those guys like in 2 seconds. And I was like, I kind of like that. Or when he slid down the wall and he fought the guys between the buildings, I was like, that is pretty cool too.
I like that.
And I was like, these are cool action scenes. Now, again, Bournes are known for chasing. So you had a lot of the motorcycle scenes, which were cool. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun, but then the ending, the execution of the ending did not work well, getting kicked off a bike. And I was like, this dude is supposed to be the best version of the program that they had.
And the scientist kicked them off. Not even Jeremy Renner.
No, because he got shot up. So
she kicked him hard enough.
Yeah. And I was a little disappointed with that. I guess that's the word to say. I was very disappointed in the ending of that because I wanted something like spectacular, like Supremacy with the car chase, where it was just like a straight ending.
Go out with a bang.
Car chase. Yeah, you got to go out with a bang. Whether he gets crashed into something, I don't care. But I think what helped me also was the beginning, bro. When he was training and the wolves were there. I know it's not an action sequence, but I consider it because he's preparing himself for what's going to happen down the line. And I thought it worked very well. Him going over the mountain to get his chemicals or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it worked. Honestly, I enjoyed the action. I gave it 3.5. It's good. I wish I could give it a 4, but I can't because the fighting scene, I wanted to see so much more hand to hand with Jeremy because he did it so well. And I thought he was a great lead, to be honest with you. All right, so 3.5 across the board.
Yep.
Storyline.
So this is such a mixed bag of a movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is a very, very, very mixed bag because there are on my right hand, I have like things that I thought were interesting and cool about the movie. And on my left hand, it's stuff that I did not think was that cool or interesting. And when you mix it together, it ends up right in the middle. I gave it a 3 for the storyline. On the plus side, if you're going to do a movie that's not about Jason Bourne, but you're tying it to that same, I think they did a pretty good job, right? Like this is another, I think they did a pretty good job, but so this is going to be a give and a take. I like that it's like another group, right? It's not Blackbriar or Treadstone. It's another group that now Edward Norton is panicking because Jason Bourne got loose. So now they want to kill off all these people. They want to shut it down before anyone discovers it exists. That's the main storyline. But at the same time, I think they do it well. The problem is it's kind of the same storyline. A group of, highly trained assassin people, and they got to shut it down before they get discovered. So it's not too different, but it's well done within the context of the Bourne universe. Okay. Number 2, I like what I was going to say in the lead character that I didn't want to say. There's almost like a sci-fi element to this, like a science, because you have these guys, they're like super soldiers. So Bourne, to my knowledge, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, we watched 3 movies. All I got from them was that he is highly trained, very skilled.
Yeah.
These guys are literally enhanced.
Yes.
They take chemicals. Yeah. So they're like stronger, faster, more physically. And also the other one makes them smarter. Like it literally makes his brain smarter. The scene where he tells her that his IQ was too low and they lied about the numbers. So when he takes the chemicals, that's when he's operating at peak mental performance as well. Yeah. I kind of like that. I thought that was pretty cool. It was different. It adds a little layer to it. But then for like every cool thing like that, there'll be these long, drawn out nonsense scenes. It's a little convoluted at times. Like you really got to pay attention to fully get what's happening and who's who and who's bad and who's good. Also, all the parts with Rachel Weisz, and I love her. I love Rachel Weisz. Not her fault. But all the scenes with her talking, she doesn't ever say anything that really like makes any sense. You know what I mean? She'll be like, oh, well, I'm just a scientist and all I do is science. He's like, all right, well, what is it? Well, it's just science. I don't know. It just says we do the science and I don't know anything. And I'm like, oh my God, spit it out. What do you do? I don't know what you do. So it was a little annoying. There's one scene in this movie I love. I love the laboratory scene where the guy starts shooting everybody. That is a great suspenseful scene. The problem is I still don't really understand why he did that. Like they kind of say, well, Jeremy Renner's like, oh, well, he was a dog that got let loose on the whatever, but how and why? And it was a little fuzzy to me. So the execution is not all there story-wise to me, but it's like pretty solid. So it's a 3.
Well, okay, so in that point, I think they did it. It was poorly executed because they gave him a drug or they held something over him and he had to shoot everybody. And that's where I got from it, because when Rachel Weisz's character was talking, she said, I know chemicals that could make your brain do stuff that you don't want to do. So I think he was chemically induced, because he was different. And when you see when they first introduced the character, he was mad genius. He got excited because he was like, oh, you gave me some type of promotional whatever. And he was mad cool, down to earth with everybody. All of a sudden, he's a zombie.
I think they did that. So I get the point of why it happened. Like the government or whatever gave him something that made him do that so they could shut down the facility. That was the point. So he can kill all the scientists and tie off the loose ends.
Yeah, and they all knew the chemicals and how to make it work.
But in the film, it's not really clear. Like, it's a little confusing at first. It's
it is, unless you're someone that watches these type of films, you'll understand it. But other than that, you're absolutely right. It did not show why or when or how.
Not good, at least.
Yeah, not a good way. But I kind of like the storyline. It was very different in the Bourne universe. I kind of understand where they were trying to go. I gave them a lot of credit on the creativity of the film, because they could have did the same thing. Aaron Cross could have been another Jason Bourne running loose, but they didn't. And I agree with you with the sci-fi thing, with the enhanced abilities. I thought it worked. I thought it was fun. I liked it. I wish I saw more of it, but you got to see him weeding off of it, which made it even fun, because there were scenes that he was just like so weak. And when they finally arrived at the Philippines, you saw his body just break down the minute he went into the elevator. Like, she was just like, "Are you okay?" He started to stare into the abyss. Like, he didn't know what the hell was going on. And I liked that. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. I wish we got one scene where he's fighting and he totally gets dominated because he does not have the pills in him. Like, he just lost it. But I mean, beggars can't be choosers.
It doesn't even almost happen. He dominates.
No, he dominated everybody. Yeah. Even with a little thing of powder, he was just whipping everyone's ass. Mm-hmm. I thought it was cool. I love the scene in the woods when he takes down the drone and then he uses the wolf because he knew they would. I thought that scene was badass. Yeah. To be honest with you, the whole thing with Ed Norton felt kind of boring. So I factored it a little bit into my score, but my scoring was basically on creativity, on giving this franchise kind of a boost of fresh air, I guess you want to call it. Mm-hmm. It worked. I thought it worked. The only thing I did not like, and I'll end it here, is I was getting tired of all these other programs. It was like, okay, we shut down Black Briar, the Treadstone, and now we're closing this one, but we have another one called Bangkok.
Yeah, how many freaking programs do you have?
I'm like, when the hell did you open Bangkok? Like, I was like, what? I was like, it's like another movie. I was like, what is going on here? And that turned me off a bit, because I'm like, you guys just shut down this program and all of a sudden you just reactivated a brand new one. So with that said, I gave it a 3.5. I enjoyed it. So overall.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. This definitely has like a finale that's set up to keep going with these movies. Yeah. Because they were assuming we were not going to get another Matt Damon one, So they're like, well, we got to keep it open. Now, this movie did well financially. I know we don't really talk about box office anymore, but it made like $260 something million. Like, it did well. Not as well, I don't think, as the other ones, but not far off. It's just kind of, there's some boring parts in this movie. And if there's one thing that you cannot say about any of the other Bourne movies, is they're never boring. They move at an incredible pace. We've talked about it. With the scenes where they're just walking around offices and talking, with the way the music is done, it's fast paced. It's like fast paced talking. You know what I mean? And here, that's not the case. The score is not as good. James Newton Howard, who's a great composer, but this is a more kind of standard movie score. It's not a suspense thriller, fast paced action score the way the other Bourne movies are. And you could tell. And there's a lot more polish on this one that the other ones don't have. I think you mentioned it before, the green grass effect. I think it was missing a little bit, because with the shaky cam as a downside, he does a lot of other stuff really well with the kind of the tone and the feel of the movie. And this one is like in the world of Bourne, but doesn't feel like a Bourne because it's more polished, kind of shot more regular, no handheld. There's a few scenes, if you notice, where they try to do like these zoom ins where it kind of is supposed to look like, but it doesn't. It doesn't really look like the other Bourne movies. So it feels like an adjacent film, which is fine. It's a knock only in that the other Bourne films are so good that it's like you want to just continue with that and then you don't really get it. Renner's great in this. Rachel Weisz is great in this, except for her dialogue is bad. I think her dialogue's bad, but I think her performance is pretty good. She plays a pretty good scared scientist woman. Their chemistry was fine. You know, it's not like super romantic, but it's good. They have good chemistry. Norton is good, but again, the role's written like kind of meh. And this one doesn't have anybody else. Like, you know, I mean, Oscar Isaac, he's cool in that opening scene. But again, it's like his whole thing is not clearly explained. I just feel like there was a lot of holes, missing parts that I'm like, what? You know, this movie's longer. It should not have any missing parts. And it felt like there was missing parts here and there. The execution was so-so. I thought it was well written, but not necessarily extremely well executed. It's a 3 for me. It's not bad. I don't think it's a bad film. But it's just good, you know, like just good. And that's it for me.
I you know what? It's going to be shocking, but I enjoyed this movie. I understand it had more dialogue than the others and didn't have much action. And I do agree with you, the whole Greengrass situation. Greengrass was more putting you in the film. So you're Jason Bourne. And all the scenes were action. I mean, me and you talked about it. I mean, every scene. I mean, the guy goes to the bathroom and is action packed. And you're like, holy hell. Yeah, you're very excited to see what came out his ass. And you're like, oh, shit, this is good. So you're like, holy crap. But I think they were trying to go with the first movie, but not as much. Right?
It feels more like the first than the second two.
It does, but it was more cinematic than the first. See, the first movie gave you more of a spy, like Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah.
But then when the McQueen dude came in towards the later, it became more of its own movie. Mm-hmm. This one felt like that. This one felt like the first one, but more cinematic, where Greengrass was more rugged, more Jason Bourne. Cameras is all like, oh, you're like, oh, right. Shoot. But I liked it, though. I thought it fit. I just felt like the scenery was not for me. Like the whole third act of the movie was in the Philippines, whereas it should have been where Jason Bourne was. It was in the city. It was in Germany, you know, all these exotic places that you'd be like, man, I wish I could go to. And I think that's another thing that Jason Bourne did well. It took you to exotic landmarks, Germany, Sweden, New York, you know, like Spain in the first movie when he met the chick with the moped at the end. Yeah. You know, so it was, to me, I guess that's what it worked. This one didn't work as much because it was where land, forest, could be anywhere, right? Yeah. And then it goes and ends in the Philippines, where it's like, who the hell?
A lot of laboratories too. They're always in like a facility.
Yeah. So for me, I think where it held the people back was the fact that it wasn't exotic destinations. No, the scenes wasn't as crazy as where Bourne was. Oh, Bourne was in India, but it started off in India and landed up in New York. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's just me.
No, I feel you. And this movie should have been called The Bourne Facility. That would have been a better name. Like, how many laboratories are we going to, bro? Come on.
and I think Jeremy was great in this movie. Aaron Cross, I like. First of all, that's a badass action name, Aaron Cross. That's a really good action name. Second, I love the speed of his fights. I thought he was really good. I wish we got a sequel. I'm going to be really honest with you. I think this movie deserved a sequel, but I understand why they didn't greenlight it. It didn't make as much. It did make the money, but it did not generate the amount of money what Bourne did. And I think that's where they were like, oh no, people were tired of it. I don't think people were tired of it. I think too, I'll just say it this way. If this movie never had a Bourne name attached to it, it would have been a hit. The fact that it had Bourne something, the name Bourne alone is Jason Bourne. And that's where I think they should have never called it that. They should have just called it something else. And I think that would have been it would have spawned into a better franchise. To be me, I'm just going to be honest with you. Because honestly, let's just take away the Bourne. All right, Nate, let's play the game.
Yeah.
We removed the Bourne. We removed the music from the original at the end, right? The right? We removed
the Moby song. Yeah, Robert told us. The Moby song.
Yeah, the Moby song. We removed that. Would you go, I would like to see a sequel of this movie, not knowing it's not a Bourne movie. This is his own franchise. Would you go, damn, this actually would have been pretty cool. You have an enhanced person now running around. The government is chasing after him now. Would you want to see a sequel?
I don't know, because you know what? Even if we detach the Bourne name,
Yeah.
I feel like at the time it came out, you might still recall Bourne and be like, this reminds me of the Bourne movies.
Right, but let's just remove it though, right? Let's just take away.
The
Let's
Bourne
say
movies
never
don't
happened.
exist.
Let's say it never happened. Would you think this is a good pilot for a film?
I think it's like a solid film. I don't know if I'd want sequels. I think it's like a good thriller, but that's it for me. So I don't know. I think, with what it did, and actually I agree. Well, I disagree in one regard. I think the Bourne name helped it. I don't know if it makes $260 million if it's a solo film, to be honest. I think the Bourne name did give it some clout and therefore makes it more interesting for a potential sequel, because now it's in that same universe. So I don't know, but that's just, I don't know. But, it's good, but I don't know.
But wouldn't you call it Bourne Blackbriar, the name of the program, and then it would have been Aaron Cross?
I will call it
Blackbriar. You don't need to call it Bourne.
Well, remember, the thing is called, what is it? Like Outcome or something like that? The name of
Project Outcome.
They should have called it that. Project Outcome. Imagine if they called it Project Outcome, and when people went to see it at the theaters, it was surprise, a Bourne movie. Like the Bourne people show up. That would have been cool.
I think so.
I think that would have been cool.
I think it could have worked, because then you could have spawned that into the Bangkok, whatever.
Word of mouth might have been better if that was the case. Like, did you see this movie? It's like a secret Bourne movie, and then people didn't know. I think knowing then I'm flipped. I'd flip if they called it something totally different, but it was the same movie. I think it might have spun off into like a second franchise. It could have.
I would like to see a sequel. I'm not gonna lie. I would have enjoyed to see a sequel, because the character would have been more. I think it would have been more action packed, to be honest with you. But anyway, I gave it a 4. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. The ending was kind of weak as hell, but I think it was an entertaining movie from through and through. I think the characters carried the movie. And honestly, we've seen 149 episodes of action films. This one is entertaining. I'm going to be honest with you. It's an entertaining film. Is it something that I go, hey, I want to see Bourne Legacy? Nah. But I enjoy watching it. It's not like I was bored or anything. It was fun.
Do you feel like I don't? So my answer is no. But do you feel like if you're watching the Bourne movies, you have to watch this one? Because I sure don't.
No.
So you could just watch Bourne, the first 3, and then Jason Bourne, and you're fine.
Yeah. That's the problem that hurts the movie.
Yeah.
If this movie tied into the beginning of him, it would have been Aaron Cross training with Jason Bourne, and he dies during the training or something towards the end, and it's only left Jason Bourne on the run, then it would have made sense.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that would have worked, because then you go, okay, now I'm have to watch Legacy to watch Identity, Supremacy, Ultimatum, then Jason Bourne, and you're good to go. The fact is that I don't need to be forced to watch this movie, because the movie has really nothing to do with the other movies, except that it's a floopity doodah in the timeline.
Right. They did not make it necessary.
Exactly.
They didn't make it necessary to watch, which is a knock against it.
If it was necessary, you know what? This could have been worked if it tied between Supremacy and Ultimatum, because it could have been a friend that he could have helped him out during that sequence of running.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that said, look, I gave it a 4. You gave it a 3?
Yep.
Yeah. So with that said, what is your total points?
My total is a 16 out of 25. I think the only really bad thing in the movie is the villain category. I think everything else is good to really good. I think Jeremy Renner is really, really good, like I said. And there's things I like. I like the sci-fi kind of element with the chemicals and the enhancements. And I like super soldier crap where they're all enhanced and anything. Yeah. Captain America, freaking G.I. Joe, anything where they make
Universal
people where
soldiers.
where they're like super supreme soldiers. I usually kind of dig it. So I like that. It's good. It's not, we just said it's not necessary when watching the Bourne films, but it exists and we covered it and it's fine. It's okay.
Look, for myself, I gave it a 17.5. I had fun with this movie as an action movie. Now, in part of the universe, we already said it. I don't think it's part of the universe. I know they added a few scenes to make it look like it is, but honestly, it is not. You don't need to watch the other 3 movies or 4 to watch this one. Is it a movie that you will pop on just to go, hey, I want to see Legacy? You could. It's a movie that you could. You really don't need to watch Jason Bourne to understand what happened in this movie. That's one thing.
Did you feel like it was kind of shoehorned in when he was in the bed and he looks up and like Jason Bourne name is carved into it?
Yes.
It feels like it was added later. Like,
Yeah.
like it wasn't there. And they're like,
Yeah.
we need more Bourne stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff that I felt like they just threw it there just to throw it there. Like when he's walking through the airport and it was like, we apprehended Jason Bourne and all this crap. And I was just like, what? Like, why would he care?
cares? He doesn't know him.
No, he don't. Like he never even crossed paths with him. And that's the thing. Like that was the whole point of this movie was he never came in contact with his other fellow mates. Meaning Oscar Isaac was a same operative as him and they never knew each other. They never even came close with each other and they didn't even care about each other. So to me, it's just like, I wish that they were all part of a unit and they knew each other. Like, oh, I haven't seen you in God knows when. And then, you know, I need chems. And then he'd be like, why do you need chemicals? Like,
or if they even did the little Bourne thing where they make the other operatives chase him. Like that's who he has, like other enhanced people fight him. But remember, they killed them all. They gave them all that yellow pill thing and they all got nosebleeds and died.
I didn't like that part.
They should have chased him.
Yeah.
And they all kill each other. That would have been more interesting.
Yeah, that would have been like a
Look, we
John
made a
Wick.
better movie in our head already.
Yeah, that could have worked. But anyway, I gave it 17 and a half. You gave it a 16 out of 16 out of a 25. Nate, what is coming up on the podcast?
Okay, we got a super special. Well, it will be past by the time you hear this podcast if you're listening to it. So we did, or our next episode, if you're audio only, is our 150th big time episode. We're still in the 80s in the River of Time. We're at Top Gun. We're gonna enter the danger zone. We're at some Tom Cruise. So looking forward to some Top Gun. There is a live show special of it. So if you're listening to this audio only and you want to check it out on YouTube, you can watch us do that review live. It'll be up out of order a little bit, but we'll have chat in there. We'll have people chiming in. It'll be a lot of fun. Other than that, next week, we are wrapping up the Bourne movies. It's always bittersweet when we get to the end of a franchise because now we're starting something new, which I'll tell you what that is at the end of the Top Gun episode. But next episode in the franchise will be Jason Bourne, the return of Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass coming back to the franchise. So I haven't seen that since it came out either. So it's gonna be like a first time watch. I don't remember it.
I saw it twice, one in the theater and then the 4K. And then that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes. I think I like it better than this one, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Top Gun episode. That's going to be actually really fun, having the community chime in on the action movie. So that's the fun part about doing stuff live, especially milestones. But other than that, if you want to follow us on our social media accounts, please follow Nate over on Instagram at NateFlix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called NateFlix Movie Reviews. Anything action movie, guys, head over to youtube.com/geeks and flicks. That is our new handle on YouTube, of course, or you could take us on the go with Action Movie Guys podcast. You could hit up Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, search, hit that search bar, hit Action Movie Guys, subscribe, leave some ratings there. Other than that, we have our social media account for Geeks and Flicks over on Instagram and Twitter at Geeks and Flicks. Other than that, I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from NateFlix Reviews.
Be awesome to each other and geek out.